If doing the right thing destroyed your life, would you still do it? It's a simple question, and most people say yes, of course they would. It sounds easy, right? It sounds noble, but that's usually before they have to, before the choice is real, and the consequences are staring them right in the face. This is a story about that choice. He wasn't brave. He wasn't special. He wasn't a hero waiting for his moment. He was just an ordinary man, with a quiet job and a life that, for the first time in a long time, finally felt stable, predictable, even the same routine every single day. He'd wake up, catch the same train, sit at the same desk, and see the same tired face in the mirror each morning. His life wasn't exciting. There was nothing heroic about it. It was just and he was okay with that. He found comfort in the monotony, in knowing what tomorrow would look like. But then one afternoon, walking past an office he normally didn't, he saw something he was never supposed to see. A flicker on a screen, a number that didn't belong. A detail that was so wrong it made the air in his lungs feel cold. It was a mistake, an accident that he was even there at that exact moment. But what he saw was no accident. It wasn't a small, clerical error. It wasn't a harmless oversight that could be easily fixed. It was something big, something intentional, something that, if it stayed hidden, would ruin lives. Real people, with families and futures, would pay the price for this secret. But it was also something that would ruin his life if he spoke up. He knew that instantly. The people involved, their positions, their influence. Speaking out would be like stepping in front of a freight train. He looked around. No one else had noticed. There were no cameras in this hallway. No witnesses. It was just him, the quiet hum of the building, and the truth, the ugly, heavy, undeniable truth. And he stood there, in that empty corridor, for a lot longer than he should have, thinking, weighing the life he had built against the lives that would be broken. He thought about his morning routine, his stable job, the peace he felt just knowing he could pay his rent. He thought about how easy it would be to just turn around, walk away, and forget. Pretend he never saw it. His life would go on, unchanged, safe, but someone else's wouldn't. And that was the choice. His quiet, stable life, or their future. El reporter Italiano. He walked into his manager's office, his heart pounding against his ribs, and he told them what he saw. And that's when everything changed. Not immediately. At first, there was a strange, unsettling calm, a brief, polite thank you, assurances that it would be looked into. For a few days, nothing happened at all, and a small, foolish part of him started to hope that maybe he was wrong, that maybe it would all just blow over. But then the silence began. It was a new kind of silence. A heavy one. It started with meetings he wasn't invited to anymore. Then came the looks from colleagues, glances that lingered just a second too long, full of questions he couldn't answer. Conversations in the break room would suddenly stop the moment he walked in. He was there, but he was invisible, a ghost at the desk he'd occupied for years. He tried to ignore it, to keep his head down and just do his work, but the chill was undeniable. Then came the email, a formal request for a meeting with HR. No context, just a time and a place. The walk to that conference room felt like a mile. And then came the reason, a vague explanation that didn't make any sense. Restructuring, changing needs. not a reflection of your performance. The words were corporate, sterile, but the message was crystal clear. By the end of the week, his security pass didn't work anymore. His desk was empty, his personal belongings packed into a sad little cardboard box. He had done the right thing, and he was out of a job. This is the point where morality gets complicated for most people. This is where the noble idea of doing the right thing crashes into the brutal reality of personal cost. It's not that people suddenly stop knowing what's right and what's wrong. It's that they finally, truly understand the price of choosing right. They see that being the hero doesn't come with a parade. Sometimes it comes with an empty desk and a box of your things. They learn that the world doesn't always reward integrity. In fact, it often punishes it, swiftly and silently. And faced with that truth, the simple, easy answer of yes, I'd do the right thing starts to sound a lot less certain, because now it's not a hypothetical. It's your rent. It's your reputation. It's your future. And the question becomes much harder to answer. There was no justice, no apology call in the middle of the night, no quiet thank you from the people he had protected. The system didn't correct itself. The people responsible for the wrongdoing. Dame Obed-On-One got a promotion. Another was transferred to a different, better department. Their lives continued, uninterrupted. His didn't. The job hunt was brutal. Explaining why he left his last position without being able to tell the truth was a nightmare. The bills started piling up. The savings dwindled. Friends, once supportive, started to drift away, uncomfortable with the cloud that now hung over him. They'd say things like, "Maybe you should have just kept your head down." Even he, alone in his apartment late at night, started to wonder if they were right. He started to question his own decision. Was it worth it? That's the question no one talks about in the stories about heroes. They never show this part, the doubt. The regret, the suffocating feeling that you sacrificed everything for a principle that the world simply doesn't care about. He asked himself over and over, was it worth it? In the end, nothing miraculous happened. No anonymous benefactor sent him a check. No news article broke the story and vindicated him. No karmic balance was restored. The world just kept spinning, indifferent. But something did remain. In the quiet moments, when he was just by himself, he'd look in the mirror, and when he looked at his own reflection, there was no excuse he had to make. There was no lie he had to defend. There was no shame he had to carry. There was just the simple, unshakable knowledge that when he was tested, he didn't run. He faced the truth, and he didn't blink. His life was in ruins. Yes, but his character wasn't. And sometimes, in a world that doesn't offer rewards for doing the right thing, that's all morality ever gives you back. Just yourself, whole and unbroken. Thank you for watching.